So today we'll start up a new topic in spatial database and modeling. Where today we'll be studying about the overview of Arcgis system and a basics about what is Arcgis server. Because nowadays you are listening that each and everyone talks about Arcgis server. Then Arcgis server additions. What are the different kinds of additions that are available? Then Arcgis server manager, then publishing those data sets using this publishing services, and finally GIS functionality. So from the name itself, you're getting it the server. Server means what do you know about server? So what is a comprehensive GIS server? A desktop, a server, a web, a mobile. So you can see a lot of application that we are dealing with in GIS. We are dealing with thousands of database whether related to stream ID, land use, land cover, geomorphology, geology, forestry, railways, smaller roads, major roads, states, highway. So a lot of streams, tributaries, a lot of data has to be handled together, and a lot of data has to be manipulated. Lot of data has to be analyzed. So if you are doing it into a common system, if you are not making that into a surveyor based model or a wave based model, your practical application will have a limitation. Means it will be limited to few section of the society. So the purpose of research or purpose of any scientific analysis depend on the amount of resource or the beneficials who will be benefited from your research. So when we are creating such large amount of information is required, where you have to store the data, you have to do the various kinds of processing. So that's requires a global storage, and for global storage you need a global user, because many persons will be working at various parts of the country. I cannot go to each and every place. So the best thing for getting all those things to into a common platform is for mapping, for cartographic visualization, editing, data management, publishing. So a lot of exercise we are doing parallelly for a large portion of the world. It can be for the world, it can be for India, it can be at a district level, it can be a block level. So if you are not putting the data into a uniform server or a server, the purpose of your project may fail, because many times you may have limitation towards space, you may have limitation towards data sharing, you may have limitation towards data editing. And if all the data are not properly edited, if all the data are not properly stored, if all the data are not properly analyzed, the purpose of any analysis will fail. So in order to do such kind of exercise, you need a ArcGIS server. So what does ArcGIS server offers to a client? Client is the user. So what does those server provides? That provides you a standard network. So that is nothing, and server is a network where all such kind of analysis, whether that is related to mobile analysis, whether you have got a tablet, whether you have got a arc globe maps, whether you have got GPS, whether you have got the different land use, land cover analysis, whether you have got field data, we have got map the data. All the data can be brought into a standard network, so that they can be properly assessed, they can be properly shared, they can be properly stored, and any person according to his or her demand, time, he can fetch the data, he can store the data, he can analyze the data sets. So that is the main purpose of ArcGIS server. Now, what is the architecture through which this ArcGIS server is composed of? So you have got a ArcGIS desktop content author. Means we are producing the data in our common database in a server of the world, and then what we are doing, we are sending it to our clock administrator, where all the data sets related to GIS will be stored in the ArcLog catalog administrator, and all the web applications related to web analysis, internet analysis will be stored in WebGIS, and that will be handled by manager administration. And all this function related to your WebGIS or related to your GIS server will be classified, will be stored in your ArcGIS server, so that anybody from a internet can connect the data shell to its mobile, to its devices where they are spatially, or they have got into the field, they want to relay the data, they want to fetch the data, they want to transfer the data in the real time, can be easily done using this internet. The same data can be easily updated and can be brought into the web browser, where the user can search the data, can store the data, can analyze the data, and all the processing related to ArcGIS Explorer, ArcGIS Desktop, ArcGIS Engine can be parallelly working on those data sets to provide you meaning data sets, and that can help the user, that can help the client in the real time. The real information can be obtained using this ArcGIS server. But on the other hand, if you see that if you are working in our computers, if anybody is at Jaipur, somebody is from Kerala, somebody is from Rajasthan, they cannot access my laptop. They cannot access my data sets, what I am preparing, what I am not preparing, what you are preparing, what data sets is required. If I want to work on the same satellite image, we three persons want to work together. So what we have to do, we have to individually download the data sets. So what we are doing, we are wasting time, we are wasting space, we are doing unnecessary exercise that was not required. Instead of that, we could have focused on our work, we could have focused on its accuracy, we could have focused on its proper methodology. So when you are using such kind of server, such isolated or such limited study is of no use to anybody. That's why this ArcGIS server is of enormous use to the mankind. So what does this Arc servers do? It is out of box WebGIS. Means Arc server connects people with geographical information. So any person living anywhere in the world can be connected if he has got an internet through ArcGIS server. So the data connectivity, the data transparency, the data analytics, the data performance, the data capacity, the data users, the data decision support system, on the basis of this data sets what you are comprising using WebGIS will be of enormous use because of this ArcGIS server, because this ArcGIS server is used to distribute maps and GIS capabilities over the web. So whatever data sets that anybody is looking for or who is interested can be sent to those portion in the form of maps, in the form of layers, in the form of other applications through web. And with ArcGIS, you can take control of your spatial data and imagery resources through a centralized data management system. So what we can do, we will be putting all the data sets to a centralized portal where each person can update the data, can manipulate the data, can analyze the data, can update the data, can manipulate the data, can use the data in the real sense. There is no need of working parallelly with the same data sets, with the data sets are which are already available in your company. So the ArcGIS is helping you out in time saving, is helping you out in money saving, in helping you out in storage saving, because each your storage, you don't require any storage, you have got a server, you can update the data, you can store the data. So the processing speed of your browser, the processing speed of your computer will be as good as it was, and there is no duplication of work being handled by various person who are located at different location and can are working together, are connected together, and can have a real analysis. So this helps decision and productivity with mapping services. So what it will do, if it is of so multi-dimensional or so multi approach, multidisciplinary portions can work together. So what finally it will do? It will provide you a proper decision support system where you can have a, you need not have to wait for the data sets to be compiled. That if anybody has gone into the field, you have to wait, he will return back, then he will download the data set, then he will upload. So till those time all the person has to be sitting ideally and has to be engaged in some other work. But if he transfers the data set in the real time, so your data, your time, your efficiency, your productivity, your profit of the company will increase. And a development platform for building spatial enabled server applications. So we can develop such platforms using ArcGIS server. So what are the different kinds of additions that are available in ArcGIS? Just like in ArcGIS, you have got ArcGIS engine, you have got ArcGIS desktop, you have got ArcGIS server, you've got ArcGIS Enterprise. So, in the same way, you have got various additions of this ArcGIS server. So, according to your purpose, according to your demand, according to your objective, according to the budget, you have to choose the server. So what are those server? The first server is basic server. Just like if you are going to buy any car in a market, you will be finding that there are 3 or 4 models available in that car. So that models is indicative of addition that you have got. If I'm going for a Maruti vehicle, they are saying that you have got a LXI model, you have got a VDI model, you have got a LDI model, you have got a SDI model. In Volkswagen, if you have got a comfort model, you have got a trend model, you have got a highline model. Now, what does their model are indicative of? Those models are indicative of different features, are indicative of different facilities, and as on you're increasing your facilities, you're increasing your comfort, the amount of money increases. In the same way, depending on your objective, depending your methodology, depending on your budget, you will be selecting the best ArcGIS server addition. So we'll start up with the basic addition. So this addition provides user with a comprehensive GIS server for spatial data management. So this is a basic model. If you go just like in a car, you have got all the standard model that are available. In the same way, all the standard features that are has to have in a server is enclosed in this basic model, and its focus is on organizing and managing geographical data sets. Means it's more kind of a data compiler and managing, and no other facility is available. You can manage the data sets, you can analyze, means okay. Now apart from basic, you have got another one that is known as standard. Just like if you go in this also bullet, if you are a young guys, you'll be going then here, and bullet you have got standard, then you have got classic, then you have got various models. In the same way, we are talking about ArcGIS standard. So what is that standard model? So this addition provides all the feature of basic addition. Means all the features what it was of managing the data, organizing the data in your basic addition. Now what is the add-on version? What is plus? Plus is important. Plus is visualization. Visualization means mapping, means spatial analysis. All it allows you to publish GIS services. You can publish the data, you can map the data, you can analyze the data, you can visualize the data, and that is using the support of browser based editing capacity. So you got a browser, and with the help of those browser, you can edit the data, you can manipulate the data, you can done do all kind of data sets. And finally, obviously, you will be getting always a standard version. And thereafter, you will be getting an advanced version. So, what does this advanced version does? This edition provides all features of standard edition. So whatever feature you were getting in standard, that was a more than basic. Now advanced is more than standard. Along with that, along with all this visualization and services and support system, this provides you advanced spatial modeling and configure mobile GIS application. So you can also use mobile GIS application, and the advanced indicates four additional advanced feature. They have got four additional advanced feature. Just in car, if you go in an advanced version, you will get fully automatic windows, then keyless start, push button start, four airbags, six airbags. In the same way, if you go in the advanced version, you will get a 3D. 3D is very important for your topographical analysis or your smart city analysis or 3D measurement. So that server has got a 3D capacity. Then you have got a network capacity that provides you all the connectivity related to nearest neighborhood, all the transportation related exercises, the transportation analysis, the drainage analysis, all the network analysis can be properly dealt with. It also provides you geostatistical analysis where all the data sets and statistics, many of the data sets, many of the formulas, many of the statistics equations will be automatically saved in the server, and you can directly process the data sets at no additional cost. So depending on your purpose, you will go and select whether you want a basic purpose, whether you want a standard person, or whether you want a advanced version. Because if you want to go for geostatistics, where you have to go on a large number of data sets are there and you have to do a statistical, that is not possible in your basic function, but you can do that in your advanced function. So Arcgis levels, what are the different kinds of levels? The people levels means understanding of the people and the computer system. So we can separate that into three functionalities: addition and two separate levels. So one is into Arcgis server group, and other one is Arcgis server enterprises. Just like Arc desktop and Arc GS enterprise. In the same way, you have got two Arcgis server work group or enterprise. So what do you mean by work group? It runs only on Windows. So the operating system for ArcGIS work group is Windows, and it includes Microsoft SQL 2008 Express Edition, which is used as database management system for RSD and limited to run on a single computer, just like our GIS desktop. This ArcGIS work group is limited to a single computer. So if it is limited to a single computer, maybe if my purpose is limited to one person or few persons in number, we can do that. But if the number of persons are high, that you cannot handle it, and for that you need a enterprise version. So what does this enterprise version work? So can scale to database of any size and number of users. So in the ArcGIS server, was a limitation towards the database size and the number of users who are using it. But in ArcGIS Enterprise, there is no scale of the database size or the numbers, and we are running on computer of any size and any configuration. We can work on any configuration. What does this include? Enterprise includes ArcSD technology, then the traditional RSD technology that runs on Oracle, that has got SQL servers, then you have got databases and informatics. And finally, you can run on one or more computers that you can done because you don't have any limitation towards the data size and the number of users. So if you compare that with the various kinds of functionality that the Arcgis server has for workgroup and the Arcgis server for enterprises, so DBMS for Arc SDE. So the SQL Server Express is there in the Arcgis work group, and in Arcgis you have got Oracle, you have got database, you have got SQL Server, you have got Informatics. Max concurrent user on Arc SD, how many users can work is 10 for a work group. But for a ArcGIS server, it's unlimited. What is the Arc SD data size? It is only 4 GB in case of a ArcGIS server work group, and it's unlimited for ArcGIS server enterprise. Then you have got Arc SD memory limit. What is the memory limit maximum that can be stored is 1 GB, but for ArcGIS enterprises it's unlimited. Then ArcGIS SD configuration that has got a direct connect, and in ArcGIS enterprise it has got both the facilities. It has got direct connect and it has got application server. Then operating system on which it works: ArcGIS workgroup on Windows, and ArcGIS enterprise server enterprise in Windows, in Solaris and Linux. Then you have got socket, single or dual socket, that is single socket. And here in our server enterprise, it is double socket. Number of users over the web, it's unlimited for both cases. So, what is the advantage? That if you want to create, for me, I would always go for ArcGIS Enterprise then server, because and I'll be asking for the advanced work, because you never know what kind of projects you will be getting in near future, and what are the kind of analysis that we are going to do in the current project. Maybe many times in between you will be requiring some specific extension related to a specific tasks, that you want to create a 3D map that can provide a real understanding. So at that point of time we cannot switch to the enterprise version. That will create a confusion, that can create a lot of confusion all around in the team. So better to have a RGS unlimited edition, just like an internet. Like if you are using a fiber net, there are various schemes coming up. So always we are looking for those internet or those packages that are unlimited in nature. So, what are the different kinds of ArcGIS extension? What are the extension that will be provided by ArcGIS? That is, you have got a basic, standard, and advanced. Just like go for any car purchasing, there are few features that are left on the left hand side, and on the top the model is written. In the same way, you can see that we have created a feature of activities that we generally perform in GIS operations, and whether those facilities are available in that server or not, that we'll be seeing it. So we'll start off with 3D facility, that we have already stated that 3D facility is only available in RGS Advanced version. Then you've got a special analysis only in RGS Advanced, geostatistical only in Advanced, and network only in Advanced. So you can see that if the major portion for which we are trying to analyze, which for we are trying to search, is which for we are trying to work, is only in the advanced version. It's not in the standard and the basic version. So that's why I stated that why to waste money, always go for a good product rather than wasting your money to some buying some substandard product. Then you have got a network that is optional. You can go, then image is optional for both. Data interpretability optional. Workflow manager optional. Semantics optional. Okay, so such kinds of operations can be performed. So how does this ArcGIS server and web both are connected? How they are connected? That is the biggest questionnaire that will come to your mind. Ki how your data sets will be going to the server, and how those server data sets will be accessed in the internet. So you can see that you have created the database in your ArcGIS desktop, and then that is both way process, like that can be stored in ArcGIS server, that can be retrieved, that can be recalculated, that can be regenerated, and it will be relaying through both internet, and the data will be stored in arcgis.com as well. And when you'll be storing this data set, both the data will be connected through internet and your internet, and then we'll be connecting this portal with the our WebGIS portal is there. Then we have got a ArcGIS Explorer is there for exploring that data set. Then you have got desktop GIS where you will be utilizing it, will be processing it, and finally you have got a mobile in the field where you will be using those my mobile data set again relaying back to your ArcGIS server. So this is how the author creates. So first exercise is author, second exercise is publish, and the third exercise is uses. So you can see that how this data sets whatever you are creating is stored on this ArcGIS server, and finally relate to the server where the data can be stored, analyzed, viewed, displayed. All such operations can be performed. So you can see that this is the Arc desktop created by an author. That author are we are the authors. Maybe you can feel that you're the author. You've created a database of any district, we have taken an example of Gurgaon, Delhi, and we have created the major state highway, road highways, then temples, hotels, restaurants, major road, railways, street name, city names, all these are created. Now I want to get it this information to be updated in our ArcGIS server. So what you have to do, once you will be going there, you require a manager. Who is the manager? Manager is a person who has the login and password for accessing that server, because this server cost is very high. It ranges from, maybe you say it from 25 lakhs to 50 lakh rupees, depending on your objective, depending your capacity, depending your utility, depending on your objective, depending on your data side, depending on your speed, depending your editability cost. So all depends on that. Secondly, whether you are using for educational purpose or whether you are using for commercial purpose. Generally for educational purpose, the rates are at a subsidized level, but for commercial purpose they are at a higher level, and for the educational purpose they are at a higher level. Okay, so now the person who is handling this server browser will be having this login password, and then he will be logging into the server. And once into the you will be logging into the server, you will have three functions coming up. This is the desktop, how it looks like. You have got home, you have got services, application, GIS server, and security. And under that you have publish a map, whether you want to publish a map, create a new web application. If you want to create a new web application, then if you want there is another user phase that says manage my GIS server. You want to manage the data sets, or you have to have a managing capacity. So the starting point for any web GIS servers is publishing services, because we want to get our data sets publish in the form of maps, PDFs, GPG files, whatever comes to your mind. I want to get my mapping of the data sets done. Then creating of the applications, the various kinds of programming, the various kinds of languages, and the various kinds of user applications we are going to connect. And finally we want to manage our GIS server, okay, how you are going to manage it. Then you need a assess help, okay, how to assess the data set, and finally complements to our catalog are will be helping them out where because in our catalog all the processing, all the mapping, all the highlighted things are done. So whenever you are going, when you can see that when you are manage the data set, then second one is publish GIS resource. What are the resource that you wanted to publish? Because right now the author service is only with us. Now we want these data sets to be on internet. So what we'll do, we'll write the row and path number of our MXD that we have stored, and then we'll put the name of that command, and we'll give the folder location of that data sets for which we want the data sets to be published. Once we have done this, the publication of data, you can see now this publication of data has been successfully uploaded with its description, source, what are the kinds of capability it has done, and what are whether you want a customer base or it is automatic. Then you've got start, stop, pause, restart, delete. So you can select, you can delete. You if you want to edit something, you can edit. So all these functions are available in this managed services where you can manage the data sets, you can zoom the data sets, you can stop the data sets. All such information can be easily done. Once you have done all this information, now it's time to publish the data sets. So it's very easy to use web application builder where you can launch the ArcGIS server manager and no programming is required. So many times what happen is the persons who are working in, they are very scared about the programming their languages, and many times it complicates the data sets by maybe I'm not knowing the command or what is the error that is creating, I cannot rectify those error messages. So what we'll do will be the ArcGIS has given you the entire option that you can directly launch the data using the ArcGIS server manager. So you can create a web application for your data sets, and once you've created the web application, you can provide the name, you can provide the description, what you want. Then you've got next, next, next. There few questionnaires you have to solve related to. You can access one or more services that what you want. You need ArcGIS server. You have got IRMS, ArcIMS services, Arc Web services, WMS services, get services from anywhere from the server. Services are blended together in the form of man. So all the data sets now you can see that whatever we have uploaded, that has been uploaded as a layer property like street, medium road, major road, national highway, Delhi, temples, airport, railways, forest, colonies, boundaries, all has been uploaded as a layers, and services are blinded in the form of maps. So next is deliver GIS functionality in your web application through tasks. So you've got a task manager who is to build your customized application. Now I've uploaded the data sets. I've uh, customized my data set. Now I want to upload that into web application. So its example is first to find a place, find three closest ATM, and edit parcel type. So tasks can be based on sophisticated model, find landslide prone zone. So whatever comes to your mind on the basis of the data sets what you have created, it will be creating a finally a landslide hazard zonation map. So completed web application, when you have completed this, the entire data is now in the web form on the internet form. So you can now focus on the map. It must have a clean layout. There must be a collapsible panels option to hide table of content or a overview of map. Built-in map navigation that we can navigate the map. We can build it. We can move over the maps by scroll wheel button, by either if I'm scrolling my mouse or by clicking or panning by my mouse or by shortcut keys that are available on a keyboard. So these are the some of the techniques then when you're creating a database that has to be done. So author information about ArcGIS desktop. What does we do in ArcGIS desktop? Generally, we create maps in the globes for globes, then locators, local use, geoprocessing models that are we are already knowing what are the various kinds of geoprocessing models, and finally we'll be creating a geodatabase for the entire nation, country, block, or district as a whole. Then public information to create services. Not only we are publishing the data to create a 2D and 3D layer in that area, but also we are going to decode the data sets. We want to georeference the data set. We want to perform the neural network analysis. We want to do geoprocessing of the data set so that our research, our data, our manipulation, our calculation, our analysis can be directly sent to the users for downloading the data, for reading the data sets, and finally creating a database services. So you can see that how these various layers, that it's near about, it looks the same like ArcGIS. You'll be seeing it, and then you will be connecting it to a ArcGIS server. So this is all about your ArcGIS server, and then we'll go for your other option, that is that today we'll go for Bhuvan. So what is a Bhuvan? So you can see that because this is also web-based services that ISRO provides it to each and everyone. So I thought of sharing it as we already have worked. So these are some of the data sets from where you can download the data sets related to Bhu Sampada, that is NRSC, then MOSDEC meteorological data, then Scorpio cyclone based, then DRC decision support system, then bio information system, then you have got biodiversity information BIS, then India war is related to water resource system. So what you have to do, the purpose for doing any server based model is to get the data visualized, to archive the data, to prepare the thematic service, and to have some open sources, to have some opening of geoprocessing. So that all motives are being fulfilled by this Bhuvan websites, which provides you gateway for various data products and survey. So what is the Bhuvan? Bhuvan is an initiative taken by Indian Space Research Organization, Department of Space, Government of India, to showcase the Indian Earth satellites capability from IRS series of satellites. This visualization can be visual use for planner, decision makers, social groups, village community to common man. So each and every person who is connected in a society can be benefited. It has got both the capacity of 2D and 3D visualization with a emphasis where the data is multi-resolution, multi-temporal, multi-sensor services, and the functions are being performed. One, what are the advantages of Bhuvan data? It is the ability of a seamless high-resolution satellite data. Bhuvan provides a high-resolution satellite data. Then you have got a multi-sensor temporal resolution data sets for IARS Lease 3. Then you have got rich thematic information with the data from ISRO, AWS, ocean services, then community sharing, participation, OCS, web services, online shapefile creation. You can create it, terrain profile. You can see it, urban design models, 3D modeling of 3D fly. You can see the entire in 3D, and you can download the data sets like Cartodem, AVIPS, Lease 3, and other portals, other data sets. So data volume, notice you can see a large data volume where, because they have to store the data related to raster data, then you have to store the data of all the information, thematic information related to wasteland degradation, geomorphology, soil, groundwater prospect, land use, land cover, drought, flood, forest fire, NDVI, and vegetation cover, fraction, tropical cyclone, heat potential. What are the value added services that you provide? Watershed boundary, weather parameter, and heat index from WS, ocean services, other services you can go. So you can see how the number of users are going on increasing when the since the inception of Bhuvan. This is the site how it looks like, where all the visualization can be seen, the thematic analysis can be downloaded. So NRSC opens the gateway where you can download the data related to Cartosat 1, then NDVI, WIPS, Lease 3, waves, and SDI. So these are the various boundaries or maps that can be easily downloaded from the Bhuvan data site. So this way you can see that you will be creating, you have to create a login password, and entire area has been classified into different tiles, and according to your objective, according to your research, according to your multi-temporal analysis, if you want, you can select the area of the portion, and all those features will be displayed on the screen of the Google website. And out of that you can select whether you want to download the whole data or whether you want to be restricted to your area of interest, and thereafter you do okay, you'll be getting your data sets in the form of tip data. On the other way hand, if you want to see the 3D terrain of the area, generally the 3D terrain for visualization and viewing, Aster GDM and SRTM are the most popular subtle radar topographic mission contours, digital elevation models available free of cost. In the same way, the cartographic data has been shared by Government of India at a spatial resolution of 30 meters to get a real understanding of digital elevation model for throughout the country. So anybody can use this service and can use for the publication purposes. Then you can also have the opportunity to select, browse, and query the thematic data set. User can also consume these thematic data sets and integrate these systems into OGC web services. So those OGC web services comprises of land use land cover 1 is to 50,000, land use land cover 1 2,50,000 from 2004 to 2010 11 flood hazard maps of 1998 to 2007, then flood and inundation from 1998 to 2010. Wasteland 1 is to 50,000 from 2004 to 2005. So you can see that this is the one portal where you can see the various kinds of land use land cover map is uploaded. You can just visualize it, and you can see the entire area statistic, and you can also check the accuracy of your map with the Bhuvan data set. So these are the quick links through which you can download the data sets, you can upload the data, you can update the data sets. So Point Punjab Remote Sensing has created, Karnataka Forest Department has used this system. So all the persons are using this system for their day-to-day activity. So this is a basics about your Bhuvan, how the Bhuvan works on. Then you've got some spatial capacity and capability that we will be doing to, or we will be studying in. So in the next class, we'll be studying about the basics of data structure, data pattern, data mapping, data visualization, data structure. So when you see about what is about a spatial data structure, what is a spatial data structure? So the spatial data structure is the technology, policy, standards, and human resource necessary to acquire the data, to process the data, to store the data, to distribute the data, to improve the data, and utilize all the geospatial data sets, because until unless you don't have any structure, you cannot use it. Just like if it's the kind of tailoring, you can, so if you are going to any shop, you want to get your store or your clothes fitted according to your physique. In the same way, the spatial data structure provides you the facility where you can do all kind of analysis that was required for the processing of the data, for manipulation, and for the analysis of the data sets. So you can store this national spatial data infrastructure that has been generated or has been created by all the European countries. Then you have got Malaysian geospatial portal is there, and then for GeoNova is there. These are the various kinds of GeoStar is there, GeoNova is there, GeoPort is there, Snake is there. So this all the agencies have partnered with spatial data infrastructure, so that each and every data sets what we are talking about be confident, be capable of handling of all the geospatial data sets. So, what are the components of spatial data infrastructure? Just like GIS, it has got few components. One is policies and institutional arrangement. This is policies and institutional arrangement. So, what do you mean by policies? One is what is about governance, what is about your data policy and security, whether it will be public domain, whether it will be private domain, whether you will be sharing the data, or whether you are sharing it, there is a cost of downloading it, what is the cost, whether it is in dollar, rupees, European, what is the minimum cost. All such arrangements has to be performed. Thereafter, you need a proper training of the portion, professional development, cooperation, outreach program from both ends, from your organization, from the users, so that both the department can equally understand the software, can equally work on the software, and can equally generate the important layers pertaining to the various purposes of or the objective of your project. And finally, creating a digital data where we are creating the digital base map, thematic map, statistical map, place maps. All such maps will be preserved and will be stored for the technology, that is the hardware, the software, the network analysis, the databases, the technical implication problem. So just like GIS, you have got various component where you need a people, you need a technology, you need a database, because without hardware you cannot process such high processing softwares, and that requires a good amount of money to get it recorded. Then you need a software because you need various extensions related to network analysis, related to 3D analysis. Then a lot of database has to be created. So until unless they don't have a structural design, it's quite tough to handle it. And finally, you have to have a technical team who will be training, who will be doing the professional training, who will be seeing to the copyrights. So this all parameters or the components are the pillars on the basis of which spatial data infrastructure is created, is developed, is analyzed, and finally we are using for various applications of remote sensing and GIS. So with this, I'll be stopping for today's class. Then after 10 minutes of gap, we'll be having on our questionnaire answer. Right now, we'll have our 10 question quiz in LMS and group discussion. After that, from 1:15, I'll be taking your rest class that was left because of the technical error. Thank you. Have a good day.